Hello and good morning. Welcome to my live stream. I'm going to commence by reading Jude 1:3. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. So there you have it. Scripture commands us to contend for our faith and not to allow false teachers in to destroy our faith. And according to uh, according to the email I read earlier, that the privilege of sharing the gospel is a privilege, and it's a duty to maintain that privilege before God. Because if we don't maintain that, then God will remove it from us and his blessings from us as well. And so uh, Jude didn't want that to happen to the church that he was writing to. And so he warned them to defend the faith, basically. Anyways, I'm streaming because my Tokahanas didn't stream tonight. And so I didn't have anything prepared, but I did have that verse. And, I read, if you watched my earlier video, you saw where I read those articles that correlated the articles, the scripture that I just read. And so it's very interesting. Uh, I ended up making coffee. So I have my coffee with me. I have my Trump hat on, and the AC is on because it's humid after it rained, and there was a little bit of thunder, but no lightning. So it wasn't really a storm like I was hoping it would turn out to be. I really like a good storm. Anyways, I wanted to explain something. I was in a live stream the other day. I heard the word stalker come out. When I hear the word stalker, I immediately think of Steph. You know, I'm Steph's stalker, and she's second to none when it comes to being a stalker. So it's just the way it is, and that's the way it's been, and that's the way it will always be for me. Uh, Anyways, enough about that. I want to discuss how Trump apparently Iran has agreed to the deal, and they caved and China caved as well because they couldn't handle the economic pressure from the high oil prices. Oil was going to reach $120 a barrel, and China caved. So because China caved, Iran caved, and this means it was a domino effect. And Trump made a well played move, pressuring all the powers that be to force Iran to give up its nuclear ambitions and to force a regime change. Iran cannot be trusted until then, but we need to trust in God and that God has put Trump in the right place for the right reason. And I believe he's done that. You know, I've argued in other videos from the book of Esther that Trump is a man for just such a time as this. And though not everybody can see that, it's the truth. I ended up watching some videos on YouTube while I was waiting to live stream and smoking a cigarette. And one I watched was Davy Crockett and the Alamo. The Fess Parker one. I found a short of that whole scene, and sorry, I'm dripping. I'm getting older, so and it's becoming apparent. But anyways, in that scene is the most action-packed scene until you have the Battle of Hoth in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. And so I really enjoy that that scene because at the end, Davy Crockett is swinging his musket all by himself, and but we don't know. They don't know if he died at the Alamo or not. So his spirit lives on, and because his spirit lives on, the spirit of his fellow defenders lives on as well, I believe. And uh, remember the Alamo. That's why I say that sometimes. So Trump is just really doing amazing. Trump 2028. Uh, my dad and my brother are sick, and I'm not sure how they got sick. They both went to bed early, so I'm up by myself, and they are asleep. And of course, because if they went to bed, they went to sleep because they're sick, and it kind of bothers me. I'm worried I'll get sick, but so far I haven't gotten sick, and I'm happy about that. Uh, you know, apparently there's another meme, another image, and I want to share it eventually on my video. Uh, it was Trump holding a bee with the British royal family there, and the bee landed on his hand, and it was actually not staged or anything. Nobody forced the bee to land on his hand. It just chose to do it. And then Trump explained that the White House is growing in size, so his project has continued. Uh, I was listening. I haven't listened to Robert Jeffress as much this week because I went to church, so I don't feel like I need it as much because I got the real deal for once. I'm sure Robert Jeffress will understand. Anyways, I got up and uh, I slept for several hours, and I thought I had missed the live stream, and so I checked, and I guess there was no live stream. I guess she wasn't feeling too well today. That's okay because it gave me time to live stream a bit and to communicate with you about what's going on. I saw a video where it was explained about China caving to Trump by persuading Iran to accept the deal. And so, because of that, I and then along with this, there were huge wins for MAGA, along with Vivek Ramaswamy. He won his nomination to run for governor in the state of Ohio, and so I think he's going to be governor. If he sticks with it. Uh, yeah. So I ended up donating to him at one point, so I feel like my donation wasn't wasted because he has been successful in achieving the nomination. Now he just needs to win the race. I'm not from Ohio, but like uh, I saw a picture of Trump and Vivek together, and I think he will make a great governor. Trump always picks good people, I think. And then let's see. Today, um, one of the reasons why I read a verse when I open my live stream is because it's a tradition I received from my mom, where every morning before we started school, she would read the Bible and pray. And this, so, I feel like this was her way of making God our focal point, even though we were going to be doing school, you know, along with other uh, tidbits. Like some of the stories she read were Christian in nature, and so uh, you know, sometimes the stories assumed the salvation of the character and stuff like that, you know, and it was a very educational time for me to hear the Bible read and to see my mom pray and know that uh, God is real, you know? I mean, mom wouldn't waste her time, I don't think. And then, you know, uh, when, salvation is a gift and we need to treasure it because in the end, we have, uh, like, before Jesus came, we couldn't really approach God. And so, uh, that's why it's important to read the Bible and know this. But then my mom would read various other stories and books like the Heidelberg Catechism, the Canons of Dort, and then usually some historical fiction or historical drama or an era piece or something to do with history every single time. And this was before I started high school. Once I started high school, the curriculum I used was Christian Liberty, and it was pretty challenging, I have to admit. And I remember when I first started high school, doing homeschool high school, I was like, this matters. Like, this is the first thing I've done that matters. If I don't do well in math, I won't get into a university. So I panicked. I think that's why I didn't do so hot in math because I panicked. I was under the pressure. But the thing is that uh, God provided, and I did get into a university because of my naval service. I still regret, though, not doing so hot in math until I was introduced to Sylvan Learning Center up in Everett. I remember going there a lot. But today I just wanted to my uh talk about all those things and uh just keep up with you and update you on what I'm doing is still waiting to hear back about the VA. So, it's gonna take some time, but I think I'm gonna hear back. I hope I don't have to seek out another law firm because, like this one is promising a lot. So, like they want 33% of the takeout, so it's quite a lot. So if they're asking for a lot, they must be able to deliver a lot, I think. Uh, something I'm disappointed about is I bought this radio clock a couple of years ago, and I bought one for my sister for her wedding, and then the radio part of the clock died, so I can no longer hear music on it, and so uh, and because the radio, so I ended up buying another radio, but I have it off right now. I'm not listening to KCBI right now because I went to church and I feel like, you know, that's that overrides the need for KCBI as much. But I still enjoy KCBI. I love Karen and Jeremy and how they, for the last several years, I followed their show from day one. I was on watch as a security guard when their show first started. It was funny too, and as a couple, they connect well, and they were excited for the opportunity to move to North Texas. So when they got the call, they came immediately and began their show. It was, and then another one that doesn't. It's kind of interesting because they actually um, encourage and uplift. And I've met Karen and Jeremy a couple times, and it was neat to meet them at KCBI. One time I was smoking a cigarette. They didn't mind. They shook my hand and said hello and wished me a good morning and moved on. They didn't make a big deal out of it, so I was I appreciated that. You know, my one habit. I try not to if that's my second positive encounter when smoking a cigarette. The first one was when I met Bert in Masao, Japan, and he first started talking about World of Warcraft. That's how our friendship formed, I think. Talking about World of Warcraft. And that's what we would talk about most of the time was World of Warcraft. And this was back in 2005 and when we first connected. And now I'm trying to find him online if I can. I contacted a private investigator and they have a Facebook for him, but I don't have the money to get the Facebook. But he lives in Colorado. Bert, if you're watching this, I just want to say hello. I miss you, buddy. I didn't know where you went off to. I knew you went to San Diego, but after that, I had no clue. So I had to search for you. I had things to tell you, but the nature of the things I had to tell you has changed a bit. So I just really want to hear from you, and if you are able to connect in World of Warcraft once again. There's classic. You might enjoy that. I ran BRD over and over because I was like, I really miss Bert. Black Rock Dungeon. That's that was one of Star Warrior's hangout spots. He got really familiar with that. And then suddenly when I was playing again, I couldn't remember my way around in BRD. So I would only do Emperor runs because it's a straight line to go to the Emperor. But to get around anywhere else, like I have to jump around and I don't enjoy skipping the content, because if you have to backtrack or have a wipe for some reason, you have to go back through all that and, skip that same mob again. And, it usually doesn't work out. Well, anyways, I'm just uh, live for a few minutes so I can uh, communicate with you. And I hope you have enjoyed my live stream. So thank you and have a good day. Have a good night and a good morning as well, because I'm sure the morning is going to be beautiful. The springtime in Texas usually is. Tell you what, the summer it's just straight up hot, but in the springtime, that's when you get the beautiful weather because the sky is a different color every single day. Like one day it's sunny and blue, and the next day it's cloudy and gray, and several colors in between sometimes it seems like. So, it's a real blessing to see. But I'm Texas style. I think I'm going to move to Florida eventually or Tennessee, but we'll see. It's all in God's hands, really, and I just go where He sends me. Um, you know, uh, so I'm just kind of filling in the time because I would like to reach a 30-minute live stream for you so that you can kind of so that I can say I communicated with you. That passage I read is important to me because it's you know, the gospel. And when I was in San Diego, I learned from Pastor Figueroa that the gospel, America's purpose was to spread the gospel. And in fact, every city that was founded with the church at the center. And in fact, the church was built first. before anything else was allowed to be built. And so this dedication is paying off even today because, you know, missionaries from America go around the world and spread the gospel and the truth. And people know America as a place where they can hear the gospel. And Trump is playing a part in that when on May 17, he's going to have a day where he rededicates us to God. And I'm looking forward to that because Trump is doing a great thing, I think. And, you know, it's God's mercy that we have Trump. And uh, I don't want to lose sight of that because it's easy to do because Trump has been so successful. But it's important to remember that God is the reason why we even know who Trump is, you know, like I've said before, and that God is exalting Trump. Sometimes God will exalt someone, and when they're exalted, there's just nothing you can do to stop them because they have you know, there's a scripture that says, if he is for me, none can be against, who can be against me? And that is in a song as well. And so, you know, nobody can stand against Trump right now because God is with him. And I think God is going to continue to be with him too because the work started in us, he is going to finish. No doubt about it. And when it's done, it's going to be beautiful, including the ballroom. Good luck on that, President Trump. And Godspeed. And thank you for watching. God bless America. God bless Trump. God bless Texas. And remember the Alamo. God bless Israel.